Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. I want to thank you so much for clicking on any of my videos. I do sincerely appreciate your time. Today's video, I do have a Square Squad update and I have a finished project, sort of. And then I have probably what will be my most favorite finished project ever. So I hope you'll stick around to the end of the video for that. First thing I'll go ahead and share is my Square Squad update. I've got one sender today, Christine from Florida. I want to thank you so much for your efforts and your time and your resources that it took for you to send this and be participating in my Square Squad. In case you missed that, I am requesting that my subscribers and viewers send me granny squares so that I can make a keepsake blanket for myself. And if there are enough squares left over, I am going to draw the names of the people who participated and sent those squares to me to create a second blanket, if there's enough. So we've got this going on through the month of September, and I will link my original request video down below. So from Christine, I've got a card, so give me just a minute. She wrote my name. Oh, this is pretty. I always love to see the cards and so forth that people have and they're sending. I love that. Aw. Oh, Christine, you drew this card? The Thrifty Chickadee. She's one of my friends on here. Look at how gorgeous that is. Thank you so much. We will make it work. I said any size, any shape, I will make it work. So let's see what she's got wrapped up for me here. Ooh, I like these very much. Everything's going to stand out so differently to me. You guys have all sent such different squares that they sort of, you know, they're all going to remind me of you when I'm looking at my blanket for years to come. These are gorgeous. These hexagon, like sunburst, puff stitch clusters. Oh, these are great, Christine. And there's a number of colors. The first one's sort of a, whoops, like a brighter orange, as you can tell. And then this is like a coral. I don't want to get too close and blow it out. That's not really, that's too red. These are gorgeous. See the colors? Oh, I love them. I will make them work somehow. I don't quite know yet how, but I will. I probably have to make this into a square to add on a little bit and make it squared off. Or we can see how they fit, what I can add in between, you know, you never know. These are great, Christine. Thank you so much. I love those. All right. And I really, really like my card. That's going to stay front and center for a while. All right. The next thing that I wanted to share with you, I bought this yarn at, I think I got this in Rolla on one of our trips out to Uniquely Yours. And it is this great yarn by Cascade Yarns. It's Cherub Yarn print. See here? And then I bought two colorways. So this one you see is all the blues. There's a really dark blue in the center here, and then some kind of gray and whitish colors, and then that lighter color blue. These side panels, I don't believe are true because it's not true to this one. As you can kind of see, this looks much more green than is in the skein. And then that colorway is 703, and these are made with nylon. It is a worsted 4. It's 55% nylon and 45% acrylic. And there were 240 yards in each of these. So it is very, very soft. And I had found this on my yarn crawl again. So I bought it in Rolla a while back, I think on a birthday trip. And then during this year's Amy's yarn crawl, Amy's yarn crawl, I went to a new shop and I don't have it on the tip of my tongue. Oh, shame on me. Anyway, the gal was so nice and lovely. I will link that video down below so that you can take a look. It's a new shop, North St. Louis somewhere. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly where. I think Florissant, but I don't want to say that for sure. But anyway, so I saw this yarn was there. She had it in her shop, and there was a scarf made up with it. So I knew just how beautiful this yarn was going to be when I finally worked it up. So the yarn that I worked with, I've got 2 empty skeins here. This one was colorway 706, and made up the same 55% nylon, 45% acrylic. And this colorway I love, and I ran out. So normally my go-to, my thing, what I know to do, or what I can do, is if I have 2 skeins of something, I can start a corner to corner and go to halfway, and then when I run out of that yarn, add the other skein or the cake or the whatever, and then decrease all the way, and I should end up with a finished blanket. This is where I finished. I did not have enough for that corner. So here is the colorway. You can see this beautiful purple that's in the center of the skein, and with the greens. And then this is sort of like a gray that goes kind of grayish, bluish to the purple. I don't have the, like I said, I'll link the video where I bought this down below so that you can see where I'm showing it in the cake. But I took this yarn with me to the hospital the day that my grandson was being born. So I finished this for him. It is so soft, so soft. We love our corner to corner, don't we? And the colors, when I got halfway, I thought, should I add the grays from these 2 cakes? I didn't want to demolish these 2 cakes and then make them not worthy, you know? So I thought, okay, I'll just do my corner to corner thing and have the same amount when I start to decrease. And I got to this part of the corner and ran out of yarn. So I either decided I'm going to leave it as it is, and it's just missing a bit of the corner. That's not a big deal, right? Or maybe we'll take a trip down to Rolla and see if she has any more in stock, or travel up to my other shop. Goodness, I'm going to put it in here because I really liked her shop, and now I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But anyway, so I've never thought about, you know, being finished with a project with it not being finished. You know, the corner, I've got like probably another 5 or 6 rows that it would take to get to this corner. So should I leave it like that? Would you leave it like that and just call it, you know, your purposely unfinished piece? Or, you know, would you go out and buy a whole nother cake of yarn just to get that? Because how long's the drive? And I don't remember, these weren't too expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head how much I paid for them, but it would be worth getting another one if I had another reason to drive out to Rolla or up to North St. Louis. So I enjoyed this very much, this colorway. It's very, very soft. I do my C to C's with 5 stitches instead of 6. And so my chain 2 on the, like right here, my next stitch would be to slip stitch into this space and create the next square here. And when I do that, I double crochet only 2 chains instead of 3, and then do my 3 double crochets for the rest of the brick. So I just think that they end up a little bit tighter. This doesn't end up so spacey in between. So I thought that for baby. So anyway, this will be my new little grandson baby blanket, and I love, love, love it. All right, guys. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this finished project yet, because I love it so much. I have to call them my roll. Okay, so, oh, and I used a 5.5 millimeter eye hook for this C to C with this soft. It calls for anywhere from an H to a J hook. So depending on what you wanted, how tight you wanted your stitches. I like a yarn that might give you a little bit of a range like that, lets you, you know, make it your own. Oh, I remember. So before I jump into what I love, love, love and want to show you, I will share with you that I made something and started making something and ended up frogging it. I really like this pattern. I'll put it in here, what it was supposed to look like once it was like blocked out. I was having my husband help me kind of stretch it out a little bit, but I just wasn't feeling it with the yarn that I used. So the yarn that I was using is this Super Soft by Zeman. And it is somewhere between a 3 and a 4. And I was using it for a pattern that you're supposed to use a 1, possibly a 2. And there's not enough. This is very, very light, and there's not a lot of structure to the strand, and I just wasn't feeling it. I think that for this project, it really needed like a worsted, not a worsted, like a superwash merino, maybe with some nylon in it to give it a little bit of some structure. This was just too loosey-goosey. This is 100% acrylic. No, I'm lying. It's 80% acrylic and 20% polyamide. So just very drapey, which is wonderful when it works out like that. But in this pattern that I put the picture up from, it's very specific. You've got those clusters that you do chains, and then you build from, so this row has 1 single crochet, and then 3 single crochets, and then 5 single crochets, and then 3, and then 1 again. And then those alternate. So throughout the entire repeat, it was rows 3 through 8 was the repeat, and each one has a different number of chains and a different number of single crochets. So you are constantly like referring to the pattern, and it is just too much for me. I was not feeling it. I didn't like the way that it was looking, and I very much appreciate this yarn. I've used it before in projects that I really, really like. So to sit there, you know, looking at something that I just really was not feeling, I decided to go ahead and frog it and move on. So the piece de resistance is with this yarn. I bought this yarn off of eBay. If you remember, I'll link that video down below as well, because you have to see the yarns together. I bought them with a reduced price. They were already listed. You know, these skeins of yarn can be anywhere from $25 to $30, right, when you buy them brand new. And she had a price listed for shipping as well. And then she had an or best offer. So I brought the price down. I think I paid $50 for 3 skeins of yarn that are from Ireland. Sorry, I had to find it. I couldn't remember. Ethically sourced hand-dyed yarn in Ireland. And there are 425 meters of 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon fingering weight. So this is the name on the band. And you can see here, I was so super excited to get my Ireland yarn. And so here is what's left of that colorway. This was called Kiln. And the colors were very, I mean, the names don't sound like they go together, you know, like a grouping, but the colorways certainly did. And I was working on one, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that color of pop is in the other. And then it was like right along the row where I was working. It was beautiful. So then the next one that I am down to is the middle color. So the first one I showed you, the darkest, is the bottom of the shawl. And that's where I ended with a border. So this one's pretty too. So this one was called Kiln, and this one is called Cooties. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's got lots of little colors and tones of the same color. And then this one you might not think of it just all by itself as to go with these, but it was sold with them and it worked very well. This one's called Alchemy. It's, you know, that doesn't go with Cooties. Here's that color. Oops. So see, like this little blue right here, I found it in some of these as well. See, like this one here has this little pink right here. It also had little pops of blue somewhere in it. So that, I think, is kind of, see the pinks? So I really believe that that's what that helped put them together. Okay. So if I was going to show you those 3 colorways all together, here's a little sneak peek. Can you see with your eyes how beautiful that just flows from the white, the first one here, to the middle one, and then this one's kind of darker? Okay, okay. Now the sun's about to shine me out here, so I will have to go outside and hold this up for you to see it completely. But first, ta-da! Can you believe this? I am absolutely in love between the way the colors went together, to the size, to the weight, to the feel. I am in love. So it's, you know, we didn't recreate the wheel here. This is not rocket science. It's simply some clusters of double crochets and then some spaces. And it has, you do rows 1 through 14, and then you repeat 5 through 14. So I did a couple of repeats here. I wanted a big, you know, I try to count how many rows I'm going to be able to do in one color before I change to the other. And I got down to this last colorway and I started to really sweat that I was going to run out of color. So what I did was to try to figure out my colors. The repeat of 5 through 14. So I did the first 1 through 14, and then I wrote 5 through 14, and you repeat that 4 times. If I'm not mistaken. Did I say 4? Yeah, you repeat it 4 more times. So then I took like a colored pencil and made notations of where I wanted to break the colors. And so part of it, you know, I think the middle one here, instead of doing the entire repeat, I stopped at row 10 or something before I changed the color because I was going to run out. So you can easily, you know, write it all out and kind of play with how you're going to break down your colors based on how much yarn you have. So if I had the same number of rows to this color, it would be ginormous. But it's, you know, so it's just kind of a basic pattern that it's just beautiful. And then they do these little scallops at the base as the border. And for me to get down to this much, I guesstimated my pattern rows by this much yarn left over. That's one of the most exciting parts to me about crocheting, is when you end up with, you've used as much of that yarn as you could possibly use. So I'm just over the moon. I love, love, love. Can I say it enough? I can't say it enough. I absolutely love this pattern. So who is it and where did I find it? This is called the Spring Reverie Triangle Shawl. She's got by Christine Crochets. I have both with an S. That may not be right. Christine Crochets. I'll link it, obviously. And so she's got both a YouTube pattern, which I did not watch. I kept notes on my written pattern. So depending on which way, you know, sometimes we find patterns that we absolutely love, but they're only in written and we can't follow written, or, you know, it's only a video tutorial and we can't follow that. So I really, really like that this was a free pattern and available in both methods. So I did use, you know, I've got my 3 skeins. So this is well over half. I think there's 64 grams left of this one. So I've got quite a beautiful something else ahead of me there. But yeah, I can't put into words, you know, when I've purchased yarns that ombre, which I've wanted to do something like this for a very long time. The purchase of these yarns to put together in this. So when I first bought this yarn, I was going through patterns that I was looking at, and there's one by Expression Fiber Arts that I really wanted to do. I'll put in the picture right here. It is gorgeous. And she's got color changes and I've got 3 colors. And so I thought this was going to be perfect. So then when I actually sat down and looked into working on the project, it's a garden. She's references a garden. So there's little green flower situations, and I didn't have any green flower situations going in this. So that's why I changed to choose this pattern instead of that one. So I was a little bit discouraged when I thought, oh, I don't want to use it on the Expression Fiber Arts, but then I found this and I couldn't be happier with it. So this is probably going to be my most favorite creation. And I don't want to say creation because I didn't design it, but my most favorite finished project to date, except for sentimental things. You can't really include those, but yeah, for sure. None of my shawls that I have made up to now have been the full size that I'm looking for. They've all been sort of a shawlette or kind of a big shawl, but this is exactly the size that I wanted, and exactly the material. The fiber is so small and thin, you know, fingering weight. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. So I will link that pattern down below if you try it out and love it as much as I do. I mean, right? We love to hear comments down in the description about either if you've used this yarn before, what you made with it, or if you've done this pattern before, what yarn did you use, what colorways. We like to know all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, there's my video for today. I hope you have found something inspiring or motivating. Would you leave a C to C incomplete like this and have one edge that just kind of just ended off like that? Or would you make the drive to go pick up another cake to finish a couple of rows like that? So, all right, guys, thanks so much for your time. Have a blessed day, and I hope you'll come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.